Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam, and thanks for hanging out with me again. So in today's video, we're going to answer all the questions from the previous Ask Me Anything request. So we've got 3 pages of stuff here. So I cut out, a lot of the extra of the comments. And believe me, I really appreciate all the kind words from you guys. But with 3 pages, there's a lot to get here. So I just cut everything out to just the questions from the comments. So I'm just going to get to it. Let's start. So RCU in the shed. Whereabouts in the States are you? As I'm always interested in where people are from. So I'm on the East Coast, United States, basically Central East Coast. I'm in Virginia and kind of almost Central Virginia. Iowa Budget RC Bashers. If you could pick one vintage RC out of any car or truck from back in the day to have in your collection, what would it be? A vintage one from back in the day. I'm going to say 2 answers for this. One answer would be the Mountaineer. I love that, seeing that in the catalogs back then. It was just an awesome, jacked up, 4-wheel drive truck that looked like, all the trucks at the car shows and stuff like that. Now more as a collector side of it and, an older Tamiya enthusiast now, I would say probably Blazing Blazer would be kind of the number one, vintage Tamiya kit from back in the day. So Mike Butang, do you have any RCs from your childhood still? I do not. Unfortunately, with everything in my early years, either got destroyed or pretty much used up. I basically ran the wheels off of everything, and the few hobby grade kits that I had from original, I sold off thinking I was going to invest that money into getting something else, and then along came girls and other interests as a teenager, and I just piddled it all away and don't have the cool RCs that I had. So I do have some stuff from 15, 20-ish years ago. So I have an old Rustler, I have an old Stampede, but that's pretty much the oldest ones I have from my personal past. Now I have older ones now, but those are the ones from personal. So OAG RC. So my question this year is, if you were stranded on a desert island, what one RC would you want with you? It has lovely smooth sands and rippling tides, RC paradise, if you will. So one out of my collection would be the Blitzer Beetle. I loved driving that thing last year at the beach, and it just looked so cool out there slinging sand around and everything. Unfortunately, it was literally the last morning we were there I got to run it because, the weather and just getting it put together and painted and everything. One from any car. Honestly, I would have to, go completely out of the realm. I think I would get the Low C5B and a pair of paddle tires on it. I've seen them run. They look awesome. And if I've got a beach all to myself where I don't have to worry about, hospitalizing anybody's little kids with a 25-pound truck, I'm going to go with the HPI 5B, the Flux version. Now, charging batteries maybe. So we might have to go gas with that. So I'd have a, 55-gallon gas drum or something there. Retro Racer 86. I would like to ask, as the channel and your collection continues to grow, do you have any strategy moving forwards? Nope. I pretty much haven't had a strategy this entire time. I'm literally just making all this stuff as I go along. Now, there are some planning and some thought process behind it. I'm just not showing up and sitting down and talking to you guys. Well, yeah, I kind of am. But anyway, there is a little bit of planning involved, but, I don't know where this is going. I don't know how big it's going to get. It seems to be growing very well, and I'm really excited for it. So I'm hoping in a couple years, we're at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10,000 subscribers, and I might be sitting out here all day, every day, making videos and building cars and doing reviews and stuff like that for you. So that's kind of a hopes and dreams thing. Plans, I don't have any. Will you eventually decide to move on some cars or make room for new builds? Or will you just continue adding to your RC collection? That is a good question, because space is becoming a premium in here. I'm really going to have to start getting creative with car storage abilities in here to make room for everything. I have a really hard time moving things on. It's just, there's always that seller's regret. And I'm sure the more cars I get, and there will be ones that it will fall off, and I will probably start having to move some on. At the current time, I don't have any plans of that. But eventually, it's if this keeps going at the rate it's going, I think I built 16, 17 cars last year, probably at least, probably more than that. I don't even remember now. So, at that rate, it's going to get really cramped in here really quick. So, Surfer's Locker. So, since starting your channel, has your enjoyment of building and running RCs increased or decreased, and why? So building, no. I love coming out here and building cars and everything like that. Running cars, I would probably say that has lessened a little bit. I would, before when I had 5 or 6 cars, I would, grab 2 or 3 of them and a pocket full of batteries and go out there and run them till every one of them was broken or, all the batteries were dead, and, do that again the next day. Now I actually enjoy being in here, listening to music, putting together a build, all that stuff. One part of the build that I'm not as excited for anymore is painting. I guess it's just because I've done it so many times, and there's, always an issue. I don't think I painted anything yet that has not given me some sort of fit. Whether it's just random dust in there, a bug decided to walk across it, or, an odd paint reaction, or, doing something dumb and painting a dark color over a light color. I literally did that the other day. But I would say building I still love, if not more, and running I probably a little bit less. So Mitsuman 555555. My question is, what was your original motivation for starting the channel, and has that motivation to keep it going changed over time? So my initial motivation for starting the YouTube channel was not even my idea. All my coworkers I talked to, I bored them to tears probably over many different ramblings at the end of meetings about the RC cars I was working on, or about the car I built, or the paint job, or something. And, they were like, you really need to start a YouTube channel to share all this cool stuff that you do with everybody else. And I was like, no, I like, being quiet and over here by myself doing things. But eventually they talked me into it, and, now here we are. The motivation to keep it going has definitely increased as, the I wouldn't say popularity has increased. I would say the motivation has increased. The more and more people I talk to in the comments, and have just given me just wonderful, wonderful comments. Occasionally there's somebody that gives me grief about saying too many times in the thing, but it's hard talking to a camera. See, there you go. But I really, the more I meet people and I talk to people and I get to know them in the comments, and we've kind of become a family and a little tiny community here, I absolutely love it, and it just keeps me wanting to do more and more, and invest more into the channel, get more cars, do more things, and just keep going and pushing myself to do more and more. So Michael Dorich, many of us like Tamiya kits, as you do. How do you choose the cars to review, and what ideas do you have your channel in the future? So as far as the cars to, the ones I buy and, build on the channel, I'm just filling off that wish list from, 10-year-old to, 18-year-old me that drooled over the magazine ads and the catalogs and stuff, but was absolutely way too broke to buy much, if anything, from them. So there's a lot of, I guess, fulfilling childhood dreams. So kits that I really enjoy, or, kits that come out, or I've seen on other people's channels that look really fun. So, we're all bad influences on each other here on YouTube. So, I see a car on somebody else's channel and I'm like, that looks fun. And I end up buying it. Or, it's filling that childhood wish list. So ideas for the channel in the future. I would like to try to get to the point to where I can do this much more frequently and more comfortably. Over the time, talking to you guys through the camera has become more talking to you guys through the camera than me sitting here talking at a camera. That is something that's made a whole lot of difference, and I want to still continue to get better at it. One of the things I would like to do as well is start up a not a Patreon. I don't want to ask people just for money, but like a membership type thing where I would put out specific videos from members. Basically, kind of an ask me anything behind the scenes. Ask me questions about a car, ask me questions about a build, ask me how to do this, ask me how to do this, and I can make short little videos for the members, just for the members. They're not going to be as refined and as polished as, well, I can't even say these are refined and polished, but they won't be as beautifully. So they won't be as edited and, won't have an intro and all that stuff. It's just going to be basically a cut and dried little video series of how to do something, or, being able to take some video behind the scenes of, me doing a build that I probably wouldn't put in a video. Stuff like that. And, I know some people want to see it, some people don't. So I think doing a membership of something like that. And, kind of going back to the other question of what I may do with some of the cars is, I know eventually I'm going to get way too many cars for in here. So passing those along through memberships, I've already invested the money into them, and, it's more of a pain in the butt for me to try to sell it, through Marketplace or eBay and ship it and all that mess. If I can give back to the members, then I will do that, and start doing a quarterly car giveaway or something for members. But that's a down the road thing. It's just something I've been thinking about, and I think it would be fun. I don't know how well it would work. The merchandise thing is kind of just I bought a shirt. And now I know some people have bought stuff, so thank you. But it's not like the shirts are flying off the shelf, and I'm gonna be able to invest a whole lot more money into the channel with it. But yeah, ideas for the future. It's like I said, I just kind of make this stuff as I go along, so we'll see. Hey, Dad RC, what's the one thing that you most attribute your quick rise to the 2K mark? And at this point, it was almost 2K, but now it is. I don't know. Evidently, you guys like seeing me just ramble on about things. It's odd to me. I'm just me. I get on the camera, and this is the same Addam you would get if you were sitting on the other side of the bench and I'm talking to you. Now, I will admit, this is a filtered version of Addam, because if it was just me and you, I would probably say more than I would on camera. Let's put it that way. But I don't know, dude. It's just kind of one of those things. It happened. I don't know. The RCL was a huge thing for the channel. All the support that he's given me to, with the great kits and the content that I've been able to make out of those has been really well. But just grind it out is the biggest thing. Put out consistent stuff. I've tried to do a video every Wednesday and every Saturday for the last year. And, now I've been doing the What's on the Wall series. So now it's been a Wednesday and a Friday and a Saturday. Now I know that is really hard to do, and it does take some planning. I have to come out here and I'll film 2 or 3 of the What's on the Walls at a time, get them edited, and get a few weeks ahead of that. Then I can start backfilling the rest of the stuff. I know some guys have 2 months worth of content already uploaded and planned out on video, but today is Wednesday and you guys will see this on Thursday, so that's my planning method. Like I said, just going with the flow. So I don't have any solid tips. Just be consistent, and just be yourself. Just try to get more comfortable talking to the camera as it is, like I'm talking to you, Jeremy. So that's all it is. And people just have to find you. So Andy Robinson RC, I guess my question is, how do you get those awesome stripes in your beard? Old age and stress. I don't know. That's going to be the only 2 things I can attribute to it. Half of these were, teenage years of my daughter, and the other half is just, old. So, you'll get there. Your daughter's going to get there, and, you're going to get old too, so. Adam Klugowitz. My question is, I've met many other Addams in my day, but I've never met one with 2 D's in their name. It's definitely unique and interesting. What's the significance of the second D? My parents wanted to ruin my life. No, I'm kidding. Now, my mother's name has a double letter in it. My dad's name has a double letter in it. So they thought it would be interesting to, they like the name Addam, but they thought it would be cool to do the double D's instead of, they have seen it with like a double M at the end, but then it was like Addam. But, if you look at it as Addam, the automated phone calls that I get, This is a phone call for Addam. Right. It's hilarious. But yeah, that's the significance of it. It's just, matching my parents' name with the double letters. Fantastic Plastic, Awesome Adventures. When did you start to notice that your first RCs became vintage? And do you ever have pauses in the hobby? And then what got you back in? So I guess noticing that I've become vintage is probably a good indication that a lot of the cars that I have are considered vintage. Um, you know, Half of these I looked at in black and white catalogs back in the day. So I'm old. We're getting old. It's all it is to it, buddy. But I have had some in and outs of the hobby. I got into it when I was a little kid, and like I said, girls came along, fun came along, and all my money went to girls and fun. Thankfully, I met my wife at a very young age, and we got married at a very young age, so I didn't have to waste a terrible amount of money chasing the ladies around for long. And my wife is a saint. She wants and asks for very little. Unlike myself, I'm kind of, I have problems. So about 20-ish years ago, I can't remember exactly when, we got in our act together as young adults and, got comfortable enough to where I could buy an RC again. So I bought the Traxxas Sledgehammer and built that up and ran that for quite a while. And then later on, I bought the Traxxas Stampede, built that as a kit, and had that for a long time. And then there was a little bit of a period in there where I wasn't into it, and they kind of sat around. And then when I kind of got back into it when the Losi Mini T's came back out. I bought one of those, and the next thing you know, we had 2 or 3 at the shop, run those around, and then that kind of kicked off a whole nother spurt. I got a Clodbuster, I got a couple other things, I got the HPI Wheelie King that I turned into a crawler. I'd got a few different things, and then again, kind of fell out of it for a little while, and got back into it when I got my T-Max and the Ravager. So I sent the T-Max down to RC Duke a while ago, and Brent at Adventure Time, actually, no, he has my Thunder Tiger 8-scale buggy. I still have the Ravager here. But, I've other, just getting in and out of it, whether it was a new kit that came out and I was like, oh, that looks fun, or, it just seen him sitting there on the shelf for a long time and be like, you know what, I'm going to take that out. And you buy a couple batteries, and next thing you know, you're buying another car and all that stuff. So it's just been kind of a hit or miss thing. But I think a lot of us, the pandemic hit, and there wasn't anything to do. So, start playing with RC cars again. And, oh, well, I got all these cool ones I'd like to buy. So, that's kind of how that one snowballed this time around. And it's just stuck. It's here. Begin. Let's see. Is there a particular hobby grade RC car, kit, car, buggy, truck, etc. that you would not be interested in building? I mean, I love building anything new and interesting, but seeing as John Foster almost threw his away, I would say one of those little WPL trucks. One thing I do hate about building a kit is if the instructions are terrible, it's just frustrating. I can't, just like the Element Enduro Builder's Kit. There was enough flaws and vagueness in that Builder's Kit thing that I didn't enjoy building that kit, and I was very frustrated by the end of it. Some of it was my mistakes, and some of it was the crap instructions. But, once you start getting into those little Chinese companies and, basically you're running off some exploded views and random screw bags, I don't want anything to do with that. I don't have time to frustrate myself on a cheap car. If you gave me just a pile of parts and be like, hey, here's a sand scorcher, figure out how to build it, I would go through the frustration of doing that. Without instructions, but something like a $150 car that I have to scratch my head and fuss and cuss about for two or 3 days. Nah, not me. So probably something like that. Anything else, I'm down for. You give me a 3,000 piece freaking tank, and I'm gonna sit here just as happy as a clam, cranking a tank together for the next 2 weeks, or a really involved to me a semi build, or even that ginormous tow truck. Everybody seems to complain about how complex and convoluted that thing is, but I would try it. So Mad BRC, my question is, do you, in your opinion, consider the most iconic? What in your opinion do you consider the most iconic Tamiya in 4-wheel drive and 2-wheel drive? I got to thinking about it the other day, and it was tough, to be honest. I had 2 picked out. Let's see if my answer matches your answer to my question. Two-wheel drive. I'm going to say the most iconic two-wheel drive to me would be the Sand Scorcher. And four-wheel drive, again, would be kind of that, Mountaineer lineup of those. But yeah, those are the two that first jump out to me is Sand Scorcher and then something like the Mountaineer or something like that. Let's see. All right, so this is going to be a couple different questions. So the hardest YouTube channel in the world to say, MSCHDKRC. So do you think we'll ever see another CW01 speed challenge this year? And I'm assuming you mean 2023. I know Phil wants to do another one, and I know he's planning on moving it up in the season a little bit more to put it more, midsummer than end of summer, fall, so it'll be less rainy in areas. I don't know if it's going to be on the CW01. That kind of falls into your next category. Would it maybe be on the Grasshopper or Hornet or something else? I'm hoping it's something like the Rising Fighter or something like that. Start with like the cheapest kit, a Grasshopper 2, the Rising Fighter, something like that. Keep it as cheap as possible for the kit, and then see what we can do with it. Or even a TTO2. TTO2 is going to be a little less fun because you're taking something that, is a fast road car and just making it a fast road car. I know why he went with the CW01. It's not supposed to do that. But I don't think neither is a Grasshopper. It came with a little tiny 380 motor in there. It was supposed to be the world's entry car into RC, not a, high-powered speed demon. Now, to go with that, I think we need to get away from possibly the Grasshopper type rear end, or make it to where you have to use the Grasshopper actual housings. Because Bryce, he's already got a lock on that kind of Grasshopper rear end of his redesigned one that he can go almost 60 miles an hour with. So, unfortunately, he's light years ahead of all of us to start if we go back to a rear end like that. And, kudos to Bryce for figuring that out and being able to do that. But, I think we may need to, put a rule in there or something that, you have to use a factory gear case or something. You can modify the gears internally maybe, but maybe use the rear gear case. Do you think the new Hobby Wing 1080 G2 is a cool thing? I do. There's a feature in there that I don't understand. But, overall, I think it's a great thing. They kind of retained the form factor, but gave you the mounts for the cooling fan, which I'm sure in some instances help out a lot. The 1080 is a great ESC. I have them in almost all of my crawlers. I love it. And, it works great as a regular ESC. You turn the drag brake off and then, you got an 80 amp brushed ESC for $40. You can't beat it. So I'm sure the G2 is just as good. Now that little feature of being able to shift with your third channel to shift from forward to reverse, I kind of think that's the dumbest damn thing in the world. I don't want to have to shift. Sometimes I get pissed off when it doesn't want to go in reverse and I got to sit there and pump reverse 3 or 4 times for it actually to go backwards. But I don't want to have to go, oh, I'm backing up. Now I'm backing up. Now it's if it was a FPV thing and I've got to turn my head to look behind me, maybe, I don't know. It's weird. I'm kind of with Josh Steed on that one. That just didn't make any sense to me, but whatever. So number 6, are you also looking forward to seeing more time trial RC videos next year? I look forward to seeing them. I don't look forward to making them, honestly. That whole, for me, racing on the track and running on the track is kind of like, for me, it feels like, what I want to do to go out and have fun, and setting up cameras and farting around with all that stuff and then editing all that stuff out takes an awful lot of time. If I didn't do it on the track, maybe it would be easier, making donuts around in the yard, doing a little simple, time thing. But, it's a lot of work. I will probably continue to do some, but, it's not going to be a heavy amount of stuff on the channel. I'm going to just try to get more of kind of the resembling of the last few videos, talk about the car, take it out, run it in the yard, bounce it around, put it on the track, do its 10 laps, put up the time at the end, and then kind of put up the picture of the leaderboard at the end of the new spots and leave it at that. And then last question, was that enough questions? Yes, very good. Enough questions. Mozzie Rock RC, what sort of RC videos do you enjoy watching for fun? So, you guys saw my list of subscriptions late in the recent video of all the shout outs. I watch pretty much everything. Rock crawling, Al over there at Spare Time RC doing the speed runs. I love watching that stuff. I would never get into it. That speed run of the lunchbox did my nerves in for about a week. But I enjoy watching them. I'll actually get on RC Live sometimes, and just I'll be sitting there doing something else at my desk, just watching and listening to the races go on. That's kind of cool. But RC wise, I watch kind of everything. Outside of RC, I kind of watch everything. I watch resin casting and art stuff. Outdoor with the Morgans, Wild and Wonderful Off Grid, Vice Grip Garage. God, I love him. I'm all over the place outside of RC. So the list of channel subscriptions is almost as long for outside of RC. But I watch gaming, miniature painting videos and all that stuff too. So yeah, that's kind of RC and regular videos I watch. So Pez RC. And I think he just wanted to make me look doofy trying to read this convoluted question out on the video. But here we go. In a multiverse scenario, do you think that there are other versions of you that are already there, all doing something different on your channel? Or do you think Addam's Playground is a base reality and the other universes are just in a quantum flux until you buy another car, at which point their wave function collapses and you move across into that new version of your world? If you stop buying RC cars, would that multiverse cease to exist? I don't know. I hope that if I buy another RC car, another universe ceases to exist, because I'm gonna start feeling like Thanos over here. That's a lot of universes I've ended. Hell of a question. I've stared at it a few times and really don't have an answer. Now, I'm hoping that, there's a multiverse of people, and somewhere out there's an extremely responsible Addam that goes to the hobby shop, looks around and says, those look really, really fun. I'm going to invest my money and go home and, invest $300 into, a mutual fund somewhere. Hopefully there's an Addam out there that's extremely wealthy. It's not me. So Outback RC Australia, what has been your favorite kit build, and what's your favorite just to have on the shelf, and which was your most difficult build? Favorite kit build would probably be still the Grand Hauler. That was just such a fun, involved build from start to finish. There's nothing hard about it, but there's nothing easy about it at the same time. Everything was new, everything was interesting. There was some head scratching moments. There was a lot of great moments out of it. I would say that was probably one of the most difficult builds too, because there was a lot of planning involved. You had to make sure stuff was painted ahead of time, and you had your ducks in a row to get from the start to finish. Let me change out my camera battery because that's getting ready to die on me. All right, battery's been changed out. We can continue rambling. So which one do I just have on the shelf for fun? Really the only true shelf one I have is the Thundershot. Everything else in here is ready to run, has been run. That's literally the only one in here that has not been run yet. I would say the Fighting Buggy and that one are probably mostly shelf queens. Everything else I will take out and put around. Now, I don't record them all just because, to be honest, they're going to be boring. I don't run them hard. I just run them to go put a smile on my face and to see them, bobbling around out in the yard. I don't go out on the track a terrible lot. So a lot of them are shelf queens just because I have so many. They all sit around the shelf for a good long while. But almost all of them I do take out and run. The Fighting Buggy, I put a lot of time and effort. It looks perfect. I don't want to mess it up. I guess another shelf queen is the retro lunchbox. So that one was built to be a retro build and, more or less live its life as a display piece. This was my consolation to the box kit that RCL sent me. So I bought a kit, a re-release kit, and built it with old stuff, old speed draw, all that stuff. And this one, it has run once, and that's probably going to be it. More or less, that is a shelf queen. So technically, we got about 3. Steadfast RC. Do you have any tips that you find particularly effective in building your channel? It seems to be I can't quite found the recipe right, and you're building fast. I've been on YouTube for around 10 years, and you've been and have been doing content for around RC content for around 5 years, and only 1,500 subscribers. I will kind of go back to the advice I gave Jeremy. Be consistent. Have kind of a normal release schedule, so you're always getting in numbers. The algorithms, I don't know the secret sauce of the algorithm at all, but I have noticed, if I was only putting out a video a week, you would have that one little blip on the radar, and then the views just died, and it was like a heartbeat. And you're going to continue to see that even if you put out 3 videos a week. It still is a rise and fall, but it's a much more gradual, wave. Your low never gets really low, but your highs still stay at your peaks. So, unfortunately, more content, consistent content, and they don't all have to be, like I told Jeremy, they don't all have to be long, drawn out, 15, 20, 30, 40, however long this video is, content. Put out a 5-minute video. If you're sitting at your bench and you come across something going, oh yeah, I should do it that way. Make a video of it. Put out a 5-minute video of, me fixing this thing. Or, hey, I got new tires. Let's put them on the truck. Oh man, that looks great. And then, show a couple images of you ripping around the yard with it. It doesn't have to be a full in-depth review. It doesn't have to be, anything great. It doesn't even have to be you talking. Just get a car out and run it around and, get 2 or 3 cars out, run them around, and just smash everything up into a cool little compilation of, a bunch of cars. There's a lot of stuff you can do, and I don't want to call it filler content, but if you don't have anything specific, if you don't have a new build, or if you don't have a project you're working on, or you don't have something, just go out and run a car. Post a running video. If you sit down and scratch out a whole bunch of ideas about tips and tricks you can give to people, or tools that you like, or anything like that, just make a video. It's not easy. I will tell you that. You have to put in the work to come up with the ideas, to come up with the videos, to make the videos, to edit the videos. Just doing one every week to once a month or so, it's gonna be hard to stay in that algorithm to get you pushed to more people's recommendation page. So that's about all I can think of. But just smash them out. Like I said, doesn't have to be anything big. I don't even do shorts. I don't. And to be honest with you, I don't watch that many shorts. I want to sit down. If I want to sit down and watch a video, I want to see a 5-10 minute video. A 30-second video of a car jumping a curb. It doesn't do much for me. So I don't really watch that many shorts. I have one short, and that was of the CW01 speedrun crash. And I just did that to have fun with it because I thought it was hilarious that I hit my truck with my truck. So I don't know if shorts would help the channel at all. It definitely gives you view count, but I don't know how well those actually help your channel out. So Martin H. As a newbie to YouTubing, I'm interested in what you recommend for simple editing apps for videos. I'm still trying to get everything right in one take. I am so glad editing software exists because getting it right in one take, I will never get right. I'm going to stumble over stuff and forget stuff and have to come back and, say it and then, put it in the video earlier. What I use is DaVinci Resolve. Now, it does have some limitations. You have to run it on a fairly decent or recent computer to run it. It runs on my laptop fine. It runs on my desktop a whole lot better because it is kind of resource intensive. Any video editing software is. Once you go to render, it basically maxes out the computer for however long. But it runs on my laptop and it runs on my desktop. It's free. So there is a paid version where you get a whole lot more features, but I have never used it. I will probably eventually get it as, the channel evolves and gets bigger. But for right now, I've been using the free DaVinci Resolve since I started. And, like any software, there's a learning curve to it, but, you know, you basically upload the clips, cut them up, put them together. You can fade in and out. You can adjust the audio of everything. So, you can layer things and you can add things. You can adjust things. So, I can adjust the music volume to match the run volume, or, move those up and down. I can match my volume where I'm sitting here talking to you versus me talking right into the camera. You can add layers, so I can have a music track laying underneath here. I can have a title track so you see something down here. I can fade that in and out. There's a lot of tips. If you decide to go DaVinci Resolve, watch Billy Ripka's video on him. He's a guru of DaVinci Resolve and has so many different things. Now, some of the instructional videos he gets into are way above my head, and I'll probably never use those cool features of, tracking and, silhouetting and all this stuff. I'm not going to get into all that probably, but it's free. It's easy to use. If I can use it, you should be able to use it. Like I said, just depending on your computer, how well it's going to work. But that's the one that I know, and I can highly recommend it. I love it. Surfer's Locker, is there one thing that you would change on new Tamiya kits? What would it be? Banish the bushing. If you can get a $80 WPL truck that has full ball bearings in it, Tamiya should be able to come off of $1.17 to add a full set of ball bearings to their kits. Just saying. They basically have 3 sizes for 99.9% of all of their RCs. They could buy a shipping container full of bearings and make kits with bearings in them from here until eternity and not cost them that much per kit. And it really cheeses me when you get free ball bearings in a kit, but that kit seems to be about $25 more than any of the other kits that, is in that same bracket. So yes, I would banish the use of bushings in an RC car. All RC Fun, Trey Smith, what is an upcoming project that you can share and that has you really excited? Trey, I'm doing this one for you, so hold on one second. So we're going to get this one built sometime soon. I've actually had this for about a month now, maybe a month and a half now. I can't remember. I just need to, I want to have time to dedicate to building this well, doing a good video on it, and, getting it just right. So I have the kit. I have pretty much all the parts for it. I'm still trying to find a good motor and speed control combo for it. I'm not sure what I'm going to put in here yet. So that's kind of one of the things that has, delayed this. I have the Revive RC under tray for it, so I will be able to get it out and get it running without, destroying the undercarriage of it. So this is coming up sometime soon, probably beginning of next year sometime. But, this one is a very, very choice kit. I'm very excited to get it going, but, I want to have all my ducks in a row and have everything ready to go when I go to build it. But I am looking forward to this one a lot. So this one was for you, Trey. I normally keep all this stuff under wraps. All right, guys. So we are in the last, 4 or 5 questions. So if you guys are still here, you guys are heroes. To listen to me ramble on for God knows how long. I feel like I've been out here for an hour and a half talking. So Simon Kabaki, can you, what's your background and can you show more track videos, please? So I will try to get out some more run videos. Hopefully this winter it's not too nasty and wet. So far this late fall has been kind of nasty and wet, but it looks like overall it's going to dry up. So once it dries up and I'm not out there having to run through the mud all the time, I will try to get some more cars back on the track and do some more running videos. So on the what's the background, I actually had to ask kind of a follow-up question whether he was asking what I do for a living or what. And he was like, yeah, basically, what do you do? What got you into the hobby? And what else do you like to do? So I do pretty much everything. In my personal life, I do my own mechanics. I do my own, maintenance and construction and everything around here. I pretty much do it all. I have done so many different things in my life, and I'm blessed to be able to have done a lot of different things. I've learned a lot of hard lessons by doing a lot of things on my own, but I'm capable of doing an awful lot. What I do professionally, I work in IT security, so that's my job. I enjoy it, but it's not my true passion. My true passion is more on the artistic side. So I have always had hobbies to where it's been making or creating or building or doing something. Woodworking was a passion for a long time. The older I've gotten and the worse my lungs have gotten from all of that crap, I don't do it as much. Sawdust gets to me pretty bad now. And just all the chemicals that go along with it, the finishes and strippers and all this stuff, it's bad for the melon, and I already stumble on words enough as is. So I don't do that as much. I still like doing stuff on my lathe. I still don't do that as often as I like. But I've done painting. I've painted Bob Ross paintings. I've done acrylic pour paintings. I've done epoxy art. I've done epoxy jewelry. I made my own glow-in-the-dark ring with a guitar string inlay and crushed stones. I just love doing different things. I get on a YouTube kick, I learn things, and then I'm like, I need to do that. So next thing you know, I'm buying materials and I'm making something, and I get decent at it, and I'm happy with the results, and then I kind of move on to something else usually, because you don't need 35 wedding bands. But I've always enjoyed doing oddball stuff. My wife has always supported me with any crazy hobby avenue I've gone down, and God bless her. She's a saint, like I said. Let's see, RC Birds. Where do you get your t-shirts? And I'm assuming, Dirt, you mean the RC car t-shirts. These you can find in my Teespring store. But my RC t-shirts, I basically get off of Amazon. There's a lot for sale on Amazon here in the US. I don't know how it is in Germany, and like UK and everything, but pretty much all of them I found through Amazon, and usually pretty good prices. How many cars do I have? Hold on a second. Yeah, that took a minute. Best count I have in here is about 118. So again, space is becoming limited. Now I'm pretty sure I'm going to get some more for Christmas, so that number's going to go up. And then I have a birthday shortly after that, so that number's probably going to go up. And I'm sure as soon as actually I have one on pre-order now. I'm probably going to put another one on pre-order. Yeah, it's a lot. Empty Pockets RC. Question, what do you look like under that beard? It's not that hard. It looks like this. I mean, we're all gingers that look pretty much. If you shave a ginger, that's what you get. And to be honest, I don't even barely remember. This has been here for 9-10 years now. And then finally, Dave Kim is, how long did it take you to grow that beard? From no beard to this length beard, 6-8 months. So in the previous team I worked with, I came into that team, and the boss was a huge sports nut, and he was like, "Hey, you gonna do No Shave November with me?" And I'm like, "Sure. If I don't have to be clean shaven up here, sure." Because before they were really strict on you must be clean shaven, you must look professional. And up in where we were, they were like, I don't care if you have a beard or not, shave if you want. But anyway, he said, let's do No Shave November. So I did No Shave November, and then we got to December, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of like the beard coming in. And so I was like, I'll shave it in New Year's. And then New Year's came around, and I'm like, I really like the beard. And my wife liked it, and so I was like, I don't know. And then I was scared to trim it, honestly. I didn't know how to trim a beard properly. I didn't have a good beard trimmer, so I was like, I don't know, just let it grow out, see what happens. And it just kept getting longer and longer and longer. And this is fairly trimmed overall. It's been way down to here before. And I realized one day while I was working with a Dremel, and I was saying, man, brr, and, wound up a giant dreadlock of beard. And, after unwinding myself for 15 minutes, I was like, maybe it's time to, cut it a little bit shorter. So it usually stays, chest height and up. It doesn't go too much lower than that anymore. Well, guys, that's it for the What's on the Wall. If you guys are still here, congratulations. I am hoarse. I feel like I've been talking for 2.5 hours now. But you guys are awesome. I love doing these. I love hearing from you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll do this more often. I think quarterly we'll probably do this. I don't want to do it once a month. I think that'll get a little too much. Just be answering the same stuff over and over again. But, I think once a quarter, something like that, 3 or 4 times a year maybe. So, you guys can sit back with a tasty beverage and munch on some snacks and, listen to me ramble on for a while. Or put me on the garage and, listen to me while I'm sputtering. Anyway, guys, as always, everybody out there, you guys be happy, be healthy, be safe. I appreciate each and every one of you. Everybody out there, have a great one. Talk to you later. Bye.